All right, may the 4th be with you, 2025. After appearing on Anthony Pierleone's Just Turtles YouTube page, it generated some interest in the pond, the construction of it, and the inhabitants within. So I feel compelled to do a more complete and thorough documentation of my cleaning of the pond today. And so that is what I am going to do. I'm going to hook up the pump here and get this thing draining, and as it empties, I will talk more about the construction and the inhabitants of this pond. Okay, step 1, unplug the pump, and I gotta pull it. First thing, this is all that filters the pond, is this one sheet of filter medium. The reason I don't go any more, let's see, I'm just going to kind of set this right here, because I'm going to put it in the shallows here, because I'll wash it off when the pump starts draining. And so we'll just leave it in there for now. And that way you can see how the pump works. Okay, so the pump is down here, and it obviously pumps into this pipe, as you saw in Anthony's video, and then goes to the waterfall right here. So removing it, quite simple. This just unscrews right here, disconnects it, and voila, pump. A little bit of debris on it. And so I probably clean this every, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. And that includes washing out the filter medium, getting it clear of all the dirt, and then obviously getting all this debris off of the pump. Okay, I'm going to take this little fitting off and put a big extension on it, and then I'm going to hook it to some outlet hoses. So I will show you that in a second. Okay, here's the extension on the pump, so that lets me put it in the deep end. Then I hook this outlet hose to it, and then another one to extend it out to the front yard, and then I start pumping. Okay, I'll check in on the next step. Okay, let's see. Pump's all hooked up, set in the water, ready to plug in and start pumping. Before I do that, I'm going to fill this tub with water from the pond with a bucket right there. Just bail it in. And that is where the fish are going to live for the next, 2 or 3 days while the water conditions. And the female river cooters will also live in here for the day. And then, let's see, the painted turtles will live in a couple coolers, and the male river cooter, the male painted turtle will probably go in a bucket, and the male river cooter will go in his own little cooler. And then the snappers just kind of wander around on their own on the bottom of the pond, and they typically hide. And so the other thing I got to do is I'm going to try and get the hollow log that you can kind of see popping up out of the water to support this giant piece of wood, and you'll see when it's empty how big this piece is. This thing's probably 1,000 pounds when it's wet. Maybe 800, but it's heavy is the point. Anyway, I want to keep that kind of off the ground if I can a little bit, just so it's easier to clean underneath it, and so it doesn't squash anybody when the pond's emptying. Okay, so the pumping process has started. You can see the outlet hose is filled. The pump is cranking at roughly 120 gallons a minute, so it doesn't take a whole lot of time to drain even a pond this big. At that rate, I think in about an hour it'll be down to nothing. I should probably time it, and that would give me a better idea of how many gallons a minute, but I think we're in the 72 to 7,500 gallon range. I have done the math on it, but I have a fair, I got a lot of pea gravel and stuff displacing up there, and but I think I'm close. I think it's in that 72 to 7,500 range. Anyway, this is the male painted turtle. This is the one that you saw in Anthony's video on the log. He was the only guy out that day. I realized when he was here, it was March 9th. So he was here when things were just barely getting started. But this guy's great. You can see his beautiful shell. He is glorious. He's a great looking turtle. And I feel like the male turtles do the best in this pond. Mostly because I think there's never a time where Harry feels compelled to try and mate with them, so they seem to be left alone. The only problems they run into is when they're trying to mate with the big females. The big females will fight back once in a while, and that becomes a problem for them. So every now and then they'll get a nick in their shell or whatever, but beyond that, he's pretty much perfect. He's pretty sweet. Okay, so he just goes in a bucket here, and unfortunately he's the first guy caught because he was up in the shallows. But as I pull the other ones out and wipe them off, I will show you them as well. Okay, my next job, and it's one of the more painstaking ones, but it's not that big of a deal because it doesn't take very long, is to get in now that the water's a little shallower and bail some water into this area where these plants are and those basking logs, because that's all a bunch of pea gravel, and I want to sift out as much dirt as I can, or loosen as much dirt as I can, and get that into the deep area so that I can pump that dirt out. And actually I'll pump it onto the roots of my trees, as you'll see later. Anyway, so that is what I got to do next, and I will show you how this process goes. So I just get into the shallows. Water's a little cold, but it is May 4th, so it's not horrible. And then you just fill and you bail, and that breaks loose all of the mud and stirs it up, and then it all flows downhill into the deep end here. And that's kind of how that goes. And so, like I said, it's just a matter of keeping the dirt stirred up, and then in a minute here I'll turn the hose on so that I create a little more current into the deeper water. And so you can see how that just turns black, and then it all flows down into the deep end toward the pump. And then I'll get a smaller pump when it's just a lot of little muddy water, and pump that onto my tree roots to feed the trees. Okay, so we're draining, and you're going to start seeing some of the underwater structures of this pond come to light, and I'll get down there with them so that you can see the to give you some scale. This is starting to drain off, and you can see I've got this suspended. I think I've got that end of that log underneath this one, so these will stay off the ground so that I can clean under them. Anyway, I'm bailing water and cleaning out the shallow section there, and now I'm super stoked. So what's going to happen is I'm going to look like a genius cleaning this pond on this day, because starting tomorrow we're going to have a major rain event here in Denver. And anyway, they're saying on starting tomorrow afternoon or evening, it's going to start raining, and then it's going to rain all day Tuesday. So that's going to go a long way toward conditioning my water and getting the chlorine out and adding some just straight fresh rainwater, which is the best water there is, into my pond system. But anyway, I'm over there bailing, and what do you know? Kablow! Baby Western paint! Garden fresh! So, I don't know where my nests are. I believe there was one right in here somewhere, or right in here by the snapper nest. I'm not sure. And then I think there was another one over here by where the pump hose is going. But anyway, I didn't think these guys were going to wake up until it rained, because it's usually the rain that wakes these guys up and gets them out. But there you go. First baby Western paint of the year. He's glorious. Tiny. Okay, so we're getting drained a little, and now you get to start seeing the crawdad displacement. These are both about perfect size for D, so one of these goes to D, unfortunately, and I'm going to go with the guy with the bigger claws because she likes claws the best. Anyway, this is just two. As you're going to see as they start coming out of the rock crevices and stuff at the bottom, and once the bottom gets exposed, you'll see just how many crawdads are in here. Okay. I am going to get behind on my cleaning duties, because this is definitely the hole where the baby painted turtle came out. Okay, there might be 4 or 5. These are all empty eggs, so how these guys hatched out.
Wow.
Okay. There you go, folks.
Well,
that is a nest that successfully hatched. Hopefully we are going to find some baby turtles in the backyard today. Okay. Getting emptier. Daisy just went from that log into the water here. The water's a little less than knee deep. Anyway, here's my next specimen that's going in the cooler. And I regard this guy, my male river cooter, as my prime specimen. Look at his shell. He is just a beautiful living piece of art. I mean, his shell is just glorious. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's his body chemistry or the chemistry of the water, but he does not grow any algae on his shell whatsoever. And he is just beautiful. I mean, he is beautiful. Anyway, again, you can see he's totally perfect because Harry never messes with him. Just a great looking specimen. And he's probably grown, I'd say, 1.5 inches since I put him in here. I think I put him in here in 22. And he was only like a 7-inch turtle. And now he's like 8.5 or 9. He is just beautiful. Okay, gonna start extracting goldfish here. You can see we're getting down to it. Lots of mud, lots of sediment down here. Good for the trees. Anyway, here's one of my big old goldfish. And then there's Daisy, my female snapper. I see a river coot over there. There's one of my big river cooters. And I will show you them individually here. Oh, there's Big Hair. Okay. Anyway, gonna get the fish out and then I'll start showing you turtles. Okay. Starting the turtle removal process. Here's a western painted turtle. I don't know if she's a little scratched or if she's starting to shed her shell a little bit. She might be a little scratched there. Anyway, here we go. I'd say 6-inch female. Beautiful little paint. Okay, it's one turtle out. Next.
Where'd she go?
They go in the red cooler. The 2 female painted turtles. Where's my other paint? Where is she? Well, I don't know where she is. Here's Daisy, my female snapper. Next to a great big crawdad, and there are lots of big crawdads, and sadly, this one Val can go in the tub. This one's got, she's got me. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, let's do this right. All these eggs are starting to hatch. These are all her babies, and we're gonna put her in the big tub, but, okay, here's my second turtle coming out. This is one of my female river cooters, and I always liked her shell because it's really dark. And so as you saw, my male river cooter grows no algae on his shell. She grows a little bit, as you can see, but not a ton. And then you'll see my next one grows a lot. But she's about 11-inch turtle, and I say she's 10 pounds probably. All right, this is my big female river cooter. And she's not much bigger than the other one, but she's pushing 12-inch. And as you can see, the algae really grows on her shell, which is too bad because she's got a great shell. You can see it a little bit underneath there, but she's got an awesome shell pattern. And once the females get this big, they're growing a lot slower, and so they do not shed a lot. But yeah, hopefully some year here she's going to shed, and this pattern will be exposed and it'll be awesome. But she grows lots of algae on her shell. But she's a great turtle. Okay, last painted turtle. This is my bigger female. I like to think she's my egg layer, but the way things go, usually I find that it's the ones I least expect to lay lots of eggs to do. But look at her shell. She is bright and beautiful. Great looking western paint. All right, starting to clean gravel in the shallow end. All right, so the other day, Val swore to me she saw 9 turtles in the pond, and I swear I've never seen more than 3 painted turtles in the pond at any given time, and I thought I only had 8. Anyway, just kind of cleaning gravel and going through things, and lo and behold, bam, female painted turtle, number 3. A few little doinks in her shell there. I'm not sure what that's from. I'm guessing that might be Harry trying to mate with her, or Daisy getting pissed and biting her, but don't know. Anyway, a little more faded shell, so she's got to shed that to bring out the brightness again. But another beautiful western painted turtle in the pond, a female, potential egg layer. Awesome. Okay, so the step I'm going through now, see all this pea gravel right here? This has all been moved from up there to down here by Big Harry right there. So I am going to kind of sift it clean with the hose and throw it back up in the gravel area. I've already done it up here in the shallower area, so you can see that's totally clean. This does not look quite like that. There is some gravel that's still left over in the end, and I will go over that as I explain the construction of this pond. All right, let's get to the last 2. residents of this pond. This is Daisy, my female snapper. Very, very reliable egg layer. The funny thing she does, though, is before she nests, about a week or a week and a half before she nests, she will dump like 10 or 15 eggs into the pond. And I don't know if it's because she's got too many eggs in her and there's just not enough room or what it is, but she will dump about 10 or 15 eggs, and she does it every year, and then proceeds to lay, I don't know, 30 to 35 eggs. And then we have the babies come out of there. Anyway, Daisy, the female snapper, she's the best. And she's been going crazy today, going in and out of the pond, which is usually what Harry does if I do this later in the year, and that's kind of why I've been, why I've moved the schedule up on that, because he hasn't really gotten rolling yet, and so he has stayed right over there into that rock all day long. Okay, folks, sorry, but Harry's not going to cooperate, and when he decides he doesn't want to come out of a hole, he ain't coming out. He is so strong. Anyway, this is Big Harry. This is his back end. And he's been here all day, which is great. Makes me worry not one bit about him. Here's his little face. Little Harry just hiding. And again, he hasn't really fired up this year. Not yet. He's been out twice basking, but really hasn't been moving too much. And I expect him to after this giant rain event that we're about to have starting tomorrow. Okay. Here's the downside to having big pine trees over your pond. Look at all the shit that's already blown into the pond since I cleaned it. I'm just trying to refill it now. That stuff will skim off in the morning. The other upside is our water pH in our tap water is so high, it's ridiculous, and that's why I have to wait a couple days to put the fish in, who I almost cooked. Water got really warm, so I put my mini pump in there, and that's turning the water over, and then I threw some ice in there. Hopefully they're going to be okay. Anyway, the bonus to cleaning your pond is I get to play Bellagio owner here and fire up the fountain. So you saw I had the pump down in the middle of the deep end. So here we go. Kablow! So this will aerate the water, to say the least, and get it turning over here, and that helps get a lot of the chlorine and other chemicals out of the water. I think they just evap out as the water turns over like this, and so anyway, that helps me put the fish in faster. And as it gets, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches deeper, I will throw all the turtles back in. They're not stoked about sitting in a cooler like this, so I will get them back in the pond as quickly as I can. Okay, here's a nice byproduct of cleaning the pond. 3 baby paints. How awesome is that? So we found one just empty shell of a baby painted turtle. It's possible, I think, there were only 4 or 5 eggs in that nest that I could count, and it might have just been 4, so we may have accounted for the whole nest, which is awesome. So anyway, 3 out of 4 survived, pretty sweet, and they all went to the pond and made it to the pond, so that was great. Alright, still May 8th. Looks like that duck and her baby got out just in time, because Harry's made his first appearance, and obviously Daisy is next to him. There's a female painted turtle. There's another female painted turtle right in front of him. And it is funny how normally Daisy and those painted turtles would have jumped off the logs immediately when I came out. But somehow when Harry's out, everybody's safe. And I concur. Everybody as safe as can be when Harry's right next to him. Okay, Mother's Day, May 11th. This is the last resident of my backyard. And this is a 3-toed box turtle that I've had well over 10 years, and she is the last box turtle surviving in my yard. And I attribute that to her fairly dull shell coloration. I don't think the birds of prey can see her. So she lives, but like I said, she is my last box turtle. And sadly, over here in the pond, about 3 in the morning last night, we heard a huge raccoon fight. And it turns out they were fighting over my male painted turtle. And he did survive the attack. He's over here. He's to the right of those big river cooters. He's the little painted turtle there with his, he's all withdrawn in his shell. He lost both his front feet. But there's a slough in northeast Colorado where Max and I go, and the average painted turtle we catch in there is missing at least 2 of its feet, and a lot of them are missing 3 of them. And so I think he's going to be okay, but I'm worried that tonight the raccoons are going to get him. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but yeah, pretty sad. Yeah, Harry is just a specimen. He is the best. Anyway, the thing that sets him apart is his head is normal sized, but as you can see, his feet and arms are just giant. I mean, his front paws are like bear claws, and his tail is humongous too. His tail is like 2 feet long, and it's huge. More like an alligator snapper tail, but that's always been the thing that set Harry apart, is that his extremities are just so big compared to any other common snapper I've run across. Typically, when I find one with a shell as big as Harry's, it's really flat, and the turtle underneath is just a lot smaller, and I see a lot of those in videos too. But anyway, yeah, like I said, Harry is just he's just a monster. All right, May 18th. Here's a picture of Harry in a classic pose, just basking on the side of the pond. All right, there's Big Hair. There you go. I think you got me in the picture. I think we got some scale there. There's me and Harry. Just basking, living the dream.